Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're welcoming back Reed Mascola from Paranoia Rising Games. My God, we're going to have to get you to help me with that, Reed. Reed is the designer of Vigilante, CATNIP Auction House, and the new Kickstarter, Dracula is Dead. Reed, welcome back to the binge, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you. Happy to be here and excited to launch my third game.
Oh my God, how's that for butchering a name? My God, let's do this once again, together.
Yes,
Paranoia
Paranoia
Rising
Rising
Games.
Games.
My
You know,
God.
it's my fault for having such a long company name,
It's like, am
but
I new
here
at
we
this?
are.
What the heck is going on? Oh my God. Oh, Reed, it is a pleasure having you back, buddy. It's so good to see you. You're a Canadian like I am. You're actually local to the same game kind of community that I am part of here in the greater Toronto area here in Canada. So it is absolute pleasure having you back. You and I haven't actually seen each other probably almost a year, I would say. It's been a
In a
while.
while. I think the last time I saw you, we played some werewolf, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. You're online. Are you still doing the online werewolf?
Not really. Yeah, but I think we did some. Did we do some in person in Origins? I think was
Origins,
it?
but then afterwards you invited me to, you had this closed kind of group you were doing
Oh yeah,
online, which is a very different experience
very different.
than
Yeah,
doing it.
for sure.
Little
Both fun, but.
little side
Yeah.
story, like is the first time I had ever played werewolf, and I remember I get my card, and I'm not wearing my glasses, and I lift it up and I look at the card. I'm trying to read what it said. I don't know what these cards say, right? And I'm reading the card, and then right away everyone's like, "You're a such and such because you took time to read the card, and if you were this, you would have just known instantly." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is my first time ever playing this game." And they're like, "Yeah, that's what someone would say if it was a werewolf." And oh my God, it was fun. It took me only three, I think we played 3 games before we finally clicked in on what the heck I was doing. But
Yeah, I think they went pretty hard after you those first few
oh
games.
yeah, I was easy pickings, right? I was just I,
Yeah.
I was the chum in the water that they are just targeting. But my God, it was fun. For those who don't know, Reed, you've been on our podcast twice before. Episode 83, I can't believe it's been that long, and then episode 255. So again, it's been over 100 episodes since we've had you on. So it's awesome having you back. For those who don't know, maybe you can give them just a quick overview of kind of Paranoia Rising Games, kind of what you've done and things like this.
Yeah, great. So Paranoia Rising Games is my board game company. I do some publishing. I mean, I do designing. I do some publishing. And my first game, Vigilante, was a self-publish through Paranoia Rising Games. My second game was actually with you, CATNIP Auction
Yes.
House. I designed the game, you published it. And then my third game here, Dracula is Dead, is published by Lime Green Games, and I designed it.
Oh, that's
We'll
amazing.
talk about the fourth one later, but the fourth one's going to be another self-publish. So
Yeah. So, and you're kind of hook, except for this game. So I think that's probably why maybe you found someone else to take it. Is your Paranoia Rising brand is all around kind of social deduction, right?
mhm.
And so then for this one, I guess because it wasn't social deduction, it made sense to work with another publisher. And we'll talk about kind of how that process went
Mhm.
in a second. But for Catnip Auction House, I can talk to my experience that, sometimes you get lucky when you're, and I was talking to another publisher about this a few weeks back where they were at an event and someone was like pitching their game and they're looking around the table thinking, people are why is nobody grabbing this, right? Like like they almost felt like a little like someone that's seeing a rare Pokemon card that no one's noticed, right? And so they end up grabbing that game and went on to publish it and had a lot of experience. Spokes was actually the name of the game, which was quite successful. And I felt equally blessed with Catnip Auction House. We were at a prototyping event, and it was a game you happened to pull out, and we're playing with a number of us at the table. And just by the sheer player count is what really attracted me. Number one, the game is a lot of fun. It's very, very simple auction mechanism to it. And but the fact I looked around the table and there was, I think, close to the 10 people, like it plays up to 10. that were playing at that time. And I was like, wow, how many games is there out there now that you can pull out, explain in less than 5 minutes that 10 people can play, and you're going to be done in 30 to 40 minutes. Like, there's
Yeah,
none.
yeah, it's a bit of a unicorn, I think.
It is.
Yeah,
It is in my
yeah,
game bag every single night because every time I go to our local game meetup, you never know. There's people coming out, there's new players. End of night, we've got like 20 minutes left, right? And people are like, do we just pack it in and go home? Or, let's pull out a game of maybe CATNIP Auction House. We'll play that. It's something you can kind of bang out really quick. So it's super cool and definitely a reflection of your talent. For those that are going to see this, I just want to kind of disclaim that I am going to show a little bit of Dracula is Dead in a few moments, but we're recording this pre-launch. So what you're going to see on the page is a bunch of zeros because it hasn't been launched yet. But I'm sure by the time this goes live, people are going to be very happy with what they see. How did you kind of line up with Lime Green? So tell us the story behind that. Like, how'd you meet and where did you guys connect?
yeah. So this is another game. Maybe I'll start that I built component first, just like Catnip Auction House, where I had a bunch of components. I'm like, I want to make a game out of this. And I've kind of always liked, well, this one's quite a bit different. It's another auction game,
Yeah.
so seemingly there's a pattern there, but where Cat Auction House is wider on the player count. This one I would say the slightly it's still fairly light, but it's maybe got a little bit more. Uh, a few more rules, I would say.
Yeah.
And there's hidden information. So this is another thing I love in my games. This is why I love social deduction.
Yeah.
There's hidden information, and um, so anyways, I came up with this game, and I tested it at Protospiel and a few different kind of game design events, had some people over playing it, got some feedback. And then I went to Origins in Columbus, which is one of the bigger uh, uh, game conventions. And they have a Unpub, I guess, area, which is
Yeah.
the prototyping area. And yeah, I just brought a bunch of prototypes, put them out on the table, had people play them. You had to book some time and people would come by. So Travis, the owner of Lime Green Games, just came by and played the game, and he kind of stayed back after the feedback and was just like, "I really like this," and and then that was I think the first night that I was there.
Yeah.
We set up. Okay, he's like, I want to meet with you tomorrow night. Let's talk about this a little bit more." I was like, "Okay, great." So we met, and he's like. At the time, I would say it was kind of more 3 to 6 players, and he's like, how can we make the 2 player work? And I'm like,
Mm.
we started kind of bouncing ideas off each other, um and on the third day, I kind of already put together kind of a way for the game to work in just with 2 players. Um, and we came back together again the following night, and we were like, here's what I put together. Let's try it out. I think his dad was there.
Hmm.
So his dad was there, kind of playing the game and like observing, um, and yeah, it was just cool. He's like, yeah, that kind of works. And we've still been kind of working a little bit more on the 2 player, and it's
Yeah.
actually in a really good place now because um, there's a lot of there's a lot of tension about the hidden information,
Mm.
and hidden information doesn't usually work in a 2 player game.
Yeah.
But we've got a kind of a 3rd player component where there's going to be some seeded information throughout the board that you're going to be able to figure out as the game goes by, um, as well as figuring out information about your opponent.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, probably about I want to say maybe like a week after the convention, I got my contract, and then yeah, we've just been working on it ever since, and got rethemed just like Catnip Auction House.
I'm curious, what was the theme before?
So it went through a few. At one point, at one point I called it Wax Museum Fire Sale, and it was all about these, I guess, people wanting to go into this wax museum that was closing down and buy up these random wax sculptures.
Mhm.
I guess before they before they melted. I don't know. And then there was another, I think after that there was a movie theme where you were all kind of like struggling, like financially struggling movie or filmmakers. And this big movie studio was closing down. So you're buying props from all these different movies.
That's
And
cool.
actually that's kind of what, I've got a little show and tell here, but this is the board. So you can see I've got like all these different movie names, and these were just all inspired by all the random bits that I'd collected for this game. So there's like a giant zebra, and I'm like,
Yeah, for people who are listening, he has held up this white kind of poster board with hand drawing squares and tracks on it with different random elements kind of written in the different squares, eh?
yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh.
Um,
And then with that, so for those out there who are looking at doing games themselves,
hmm.
let's talk a little bit about the re-theme, right? Because I think that someone like yourself can probably offer good advice for others who might be in a situation like this and not really sure how to handle. I've created this game, I had this idea in my head of how it's going to play out and the story behind it, and then this publisher wants it, but they want to change it. What's your perspective on that, and what advice would you give to others?
Yeah, I would say it's like anything. Don't get too attached to your theme if you're going to be pitching it.
Yeah,
I think you have to be willing, like knowing going in that there's a good chance that changes. But it's just kind of like anything, right? Like don't get too defensive about anything about the game, otherwise it's not going to be a good game.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's and I remember back to CATNIP Auction House, right? I said, I'm interested in taking this game with the caveat is I'm gonna reskin it as cats.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
if that doesn't work, then go with Rich, because
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
me and Richard from Analog Game Studios were kind of not really fighting over it, but had a friendly kind of "Am I going to go after it? Are you going to go after it?" kind of discussion, and he was looking to keep it in the current theme. So
Mhm.
and that's something you have to decide as a designer, right? What is it that you're trying to do? Like, what's your end goal? And if your end goal is to say, hey, I want to be a game designer and I'm looking to have games out there that, I've been credited with, you got to realize there's going to be some give and take. Now, it doesn't mean you can't try to leverage some of that, like, insisting one of the cats' names are Mewbacca,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So I gave you that. So one of the cats is named Mewbacca in CATNIP Auction House, which is a great card, and people
Still the
just
one I pick every time.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I absolutely love
Yeah.
it. That or Chuckles. Chuckles is
Yeah.
is my
Yeah.
favorite. But
Chuckles is great.
that's just part of kind of the gambit, right? And
Hmm.
that doesn't work for you, then you are better served to go and self-publish a game. If you have to keep it kind of contained to the current vision, there's always going to be adjustments. And the way I approach these kind of things, even as I kind of as a publisher, but I'm a designer as well, right? And I pitch designs to other people. And part of that is I understand that they probably are going to be coming at it from a very different perspective than I am, and specifically to their audience. So, as a publisher, who you're targeting with your audience. You likely have a loyal following that's followed you on other games and other, things in your portfolio. So you got to try to fit within that target. And if you're dealing with a designer who's like, no, 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 it has to be this other way, that's okay. But then there's not a fit with you because you need to be kind of in this kind of format so you can hit your target, right? And it's
Hmm.
important to have those open discussions up front so everybody's kind of on the same page before you go too far down the process, I think, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I think the maybe one of the good things about working with smaller publishers is that there's a lot more collaboration in that area.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you're working with a big publisher, it's like, okay, well, they're retheming it to this, just kind of deal with it.
Yeah. We'll call you if we need you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Travis and I had a lot of kind of back and forth brainstorming about what themes would make sense.
Yeah.
And I think we both had a lot of maybe bad ideas along the way, but I'm very happy where it ended up. And I mean, with you, I mean, I have a cat, so like
Yeah.
cats were easy sell for me. And I think the Dracula theme actually lends itself quite well. And I think just kind of the gothic aesthetic of Dracula is Dead fits really well
Yeah.
uh, with what we're trying to do.
It has kind of a party vibe to it too, right? Almost like a
Mhm.
party game kind of vibe
Mhm.
to it. So it does it cap at 4 players, or can it go up to a higher player count?
Yeah, so right now it's 2 to 4 with a stretch goal for fifth player, I believe. Or maybe not, actually. Let me just see. Sorry. This is still being updated, so I don't want to promise something that's not going to be delivered. We It definitely works at 5. But it's a fairly quick game. Like it's probably around the 20 to 30 minute range.
Yeah.
So I would say with 5 players, it's gonna go a little bit longer.
So
Um,
for those on the playback watching visually on screen, I'm showing the page on screen. Again, caveat is that this is a pre-record, so some elements on this page are probably going to change from what we're showing here. And I'm sure by the time you're listening to this, it's already funded. Can you walk us through kind of how to play this game, Reed,
yeah,
as I kind of show on screen? Is that cool?
absolutely. Basically, the way this works is you are going to be a kind of a vampire socialite. Uh, Dracula has died, and all of his belongings are up for auction. So you're going around his mansion, trying to win auctions on his legendary items or curios, as we're calling them. Um, the Basically kind of how it works is you're going to and forgive these for I guess for the viewers on screen you'll be able to see. But I'll explain these that you're going to have these bid tokens that
Mm,
are going to have
like poker
and
chips almost,
just a
right?
really yeah poker chips effectively that are going to have a bid number which can range anywhere from 200 to 700, and then you're going to have one that's got a giant X on it, which is the sabotage token.
Mm,
So on your turn, you're gonna basically you're gonna do let's say 3.5 things. So you're going to move. So you're gonna move around the mansion. You're gonna move one room. You're going to place a bid, and when you place a bid, it's gonna be face down. So only you know what it is. Um, and you're going to do a unique action. So each character has 8 possible actions that they can do.
yeah.
Uh, 2 of those actions are going to be completely unique to the character that you pick, and 6 of them are going to be consistent across the characters. And they have game-breaking abilities such as looking at tokens or placing an extra bid or getting an extra movement. So yeah, so you're gonna move, you're gonna take an action, you're gonna bid, and whenever you move into a room, you're gonna get to do whatever the room action is. Usually it's just to uh get a card or a coin or something like that that's gonna help you with your objective. Now, this kind of happens for 6 rounds. Every player does move a bid and an action 6 times. And then at the end of the game, each room, which represents an item, you're going to check the bids and see who won that item.
Mm.
And then you're gonna hand those out. Items are worth points. Most points wins. But on top of that, throughout the game, players are going to be collecting um, cards. These cards represent your socialite's desire for a particular item.
So
And
like a
each
like a preferred item almost.
like a preferred item, exactly. And each card you have is going to be worth 2 points if you win that item.
Mm.
Um, so you've got the cards. You're also going to be collecting coins. Coins are just a way of increasing your bid value, so you can place your coins on your bid to increase it by 100 for each coin on there. Um, and then the sabotage, the way that works, the sabotage token or the X is going to basically cancel out the highest opposing bid token. So so you're gonna basically be putting these secret bids around the mansion. You're gonna have some ways of getting information of what bids people put where. You're gonna have some ways of getting information about what cards are in people's hands, so you can figure out what items they might be going for. And you're trying to just maximize how many points you can get.
And then at the end, so it's
Mhm,
like a 30, 40 minutes, and then once you're kind of done, you count up all the points, and
mhm,
obviously the person with the most points wins. In terms of often I find these kinds of games, like as you play more, like you would
mhm,
probably try. It's that classic thing of, okay, now I know what I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna approach it.
mhm.
Do you find people doing that as they're playing? They're like, okay, next time I know I'm gonna definitely approach that differently. And then is there a benefit of having that prior experience, or is the game changed so much that really your strategy is really going to depend on the game, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on who you play against. I think it's something where, so definitely knowing which actions I think are more beneficial to take earlier and which actions are more beneficial to take later is
Mm.
is a good thing. Or um, which items do you go for? So, for instance, the middle room, there are no cards for the middle room, but the middle room is worth a lot of points. So if you think that, oh, people are going to go for what they're holding cards for, then you might put a strong bid in the middle and just get the straight points.
And hope somebody doesn't sabotage you.
So hope somebody doesn't sabotage you. Exactly.
Can you have more? So can you have like two people going in at 600 on the same room? And then what happens when there's a tie?
So the tiebreaker actually goes to the player that's earlier in turn order.
Mm.
So
The first one
there's a
in.
first player disadvantage, but the advantage is that they win ties.
And then when somebody sabotages a room, does it whack all if there's tie high bids? Like would all 600s get whacked or?
No, no, just the highest bid. So in this case, whoever like if there was a tie, whoever's earlier in turn
So
order. Yeah,
that's a disadvantage that
that's a disadvantage
you're the one
also.
that gets
Yeah.
whacked.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love
Yeah.
the fact that you've got these. I'm going to show on screen these
Yeah, for
caskets
sure.
that are
Yeah.
that hold your chips. Like, so when you guys are going through like the decision process, like how early did that kind of come up? Like,
So I take zero credit for these caskets. I think this is the coolest thing. So this is 100% Travis. What I, what I use with prototypes is I use those little glass beads
yeah,
in different colors, and I just had little stickers at the bottom to say the bid. Um, and we're kind of discussing, okay, well, how can you see your bids and your opponent and avoid your opponent being able to see them? So this is how you just get caskets.
oh,
You
it's
get these
awesome.
giant caskets.
I love it, and I love how
Yeah.
the game board too also looks like that kind of Dracula's mansion too, right? So you can see the
Hmm.
different rooms and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely well thought out. The artist, so I want to call that out too because I
Mhm.
know in this day and age when there's a lot of sensitivity around AI art, you guys actually have artists like this is actual like this art which looks awesome by the way
Hmm.
was actually created by humans. Is that fair to say?
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
How long did it take for them to put this together? Like I know that like obviously creating a game and getting it so it's balanced and working right takes a long time. But I don't know if people give enough kind of credit to the amount of time it takes to put sometimes these assets together, especially if you're dealing with artists that are like drawing things. What was the incubation period on this one there, Reed?
So that's a good question. I would say um, probably from when Travis showed me the first piece of art to when he had everything, I think it was probably about 3 months altogether, if I
Wow,
were to estimate.
that's
It's,
quick.
yeah, I mean, in terms of the art itself, um, there's definitely I wouldn't compare the amount of pieces of art to, for instance, Vigilante, where
Yeah.
you've got like 100 different pieces of card art. But you've got all the different characters, you've got all the rooms, you've got the cards which have a kind of a variation of what's on the rooms, and
Yep.
then you've got box art and all that. Um, so there's quite a bit of art, but it's not too much, which helps speed up the process.
No, I love it.
Mm.
The so kudos to Travis, and again, just
Mm.
want to kind of call out, that this is he's the publisher, right, of this,
Mhm.
and I'm sure he's gonna be delighted with where this kicks off. Tomorrow, you guys are gonna launch, and so people listening to this will actually be today, I guess, if I'd kind of jump forward in time.
Yes.
But man, this looks super cool. I think people are gonna love it. I know auction games do very, very well in the marketplace. Most people have at least a few in their game bag. I know I do. On my shelf across from me here, I've got like 6 different auction games. Where kind of what's your plan from here? Like what are you working on next? Are you allowed to talk about it or
Yeah, absolutely. So Dracula's dead. After Dracula's dead, I've got a game called Rûnebeasts.
Rune Beasts?
Rûnebeasts.
Okay.
It's a deck building game. So admittedly doesn't really fit in the whole Paranoia Rising Games theme, but as you know, Vigilante and Rune Beast were both projects where like I felt a very clear direction in terms of how I wanted it to look and feel. I was tied to the theme, and Rune Beast is a creature collecting deck building game. So effectively what you're doing is you're trying to uh, recruit creatures in the marketplace. You're trying to train those creatures to evolve them into stronger creatures. And probably the aside from like evolution and some really exciting kind of foil beasts that are going to show up in the market.
Is it gonna be like a
There's
TCG or
it's not going to be like a TCG, but the art and the special cards are going to look really cool, just like a TCG,
but you don't
but
have to get them like
without
PSA rated or anything?
you can. I mean, I'd say go for it. Depending on how short a print run I do, might be worth something. But um, yeah, one of the cool elements of it is that you're trying to get points by beating each other. So
Mm.
all the players have to fight with their beasts in what's called a showdown. So showdown happens every few rounds, and you're trying to make your deck better so that when you get into a showdown, you're ready to win some battles.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
love games like that where you're like building towards kind of the end and then you have kind of like the battle at the end and that's
Hmm.
based on how you kind of built up your plan, right? From the
Hmm.
beginning of the game. And then,
Yeah.
so is that coming out next year or what? When do you plan to launch that?
So the first pre-production copy, I've already sent the files to the manufacturer, so I'm expecting that back. Like all the art and graphic design is done.
Wow.
Like it's ready, but I haven't done any marketing for it yet. Maybe this is the first amount, no. So yeah, so I'm gonna probably print off a bunch of pre-production copies to send out to reviewers, and then as I send those out, I'll start the marketing and give the reviewers probably a couple of months to get some videos up and launch the Kickstarter at that point. So
Oh, that's
probably
awesome.
aiming towards late summer.
Really that quickly. And then
Yeah.
are you going to take another shot at, like I know with Vigilante, we had
Hmm.
when last time we were on the podcast, we were talking about the expansion you had, didn't
Yep.
fund. You ended up
Yep.
pulling the campaign,
I did.
I
Yeah.
believe. And so is there a plan, like for those out there, Vigilante fans,
Mhm.
is there going to be a revisit of that at some point, do you think? Or,
Absolutely. So, Hidden Motives, which is the expansion, is done. So it's just a matter of funding it and getting and manufacturing it. And story mode is very close to done, which is the co-op version of it.
Yeah.
So I've done all the art and graphic design for the most part for those two, and it's just a matter of putting it out there, building the audience for it. But I thought that Rûnebeasts might have a little bit more mass appeal,
Yeah.
cute creatures and all that good stuff. So I want to kind of build an audience around Rûnebeasts and then revisit Vigilante afterwards.
What would you say to like other designers out there who have maybe tried and not been successful with something they've put out? Do you have any advice for them, given that I mean, I've had a campaign to fail myself, right? Like we've
Yeah.
all had failure. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think just make sure that you use that failure to figure out what you did wrong, so that you can improve the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it also depends on like your urgency depends on is this your career or is this something that you're doing on the side? And I think for me it's sometimes having a break and coming back to something fresh is better than just diving right back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a side gig, I think it's easier to kind of like, take some time to kind of digest. On the flip side, I think the danger there sometimes if it's a side gig, might be more inclined to give up.
Yeah,
And
yeah, agreed.
from my perspective, and we've had a number of guests on the podcast who have had campaigns that have not funded, right? Where
Mhm,
they've come back at it, and the ones that come back stronger are always, like you say, the ones that say, okay, what can I learn from that?
mhm,
And they go back and do a deep dive, and it's rarely about the game. It's
mhm,
rarely about the game. It's usually about, did I get the audience pre-built up enough before it was go time? And that's like 99% of the time,
mhm.
that's what the issue is, right? So it's focusing on the part that nobody likes.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even like it, right? Of
yeah,
building the audience, it is so hard
yeah.
and punishing and can be costly.
Mhm.
But that's the part that you got to try to get good at, because that's going to be the difference between the other stuff coming easier or not, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly I think what I ran into with Hidden Motives. I think I did a little bit of a better job with the base game when I first launched it.
Yeah.
But I actually failed the first launch of Vigilante, I think in large part because of the graphic design and artwork I'd chosen for the cover.
Hmm.
And I went back to the drawing board and hired a graphic designer and just made it look like so much better.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's another thing I sometimes see is when you'll have someone publish a game that's successful,
Mhm.
and then the next game they have is not. And when you kind of peel that onion back, what you realize is that they almost forgot the amount of work that went into
Mhm.
getting ready for that initial campaign. That you got to do that each time,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you got to build the audience each time, and
Yeah.
people have very short memories and they move on very, very quickly. And so it's kind of getting to that next step is doing that deep dive and keep post gaming it and seeing what you can learn and not forget about. I try to do this every time I do a campaign. Is I'll do a post game on video, not for other people, for myself, because I'll go back and watch that video before my next campaign to say, oh my god, I forgot that I even did that. So it's
Mhm.
important to kind of keep building on those learnings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to wish you and Travis all the best on this campaign.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you guys. I think it's going to go really, really well. It looks super
Mhm.
awesome. I know you're a hell of a game designer, so I know game wise this thing is rocking and rolling. And now it's just getting this out to the audience, which based on what you guys are targeting, I'm pretty sure it's a day one funding we're going to see. But
Yeah.
tomorrow when this episode goes live, I'll be watching. I'll be rooting for you, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it and happy to get this to the table at some point with you.
That sounds good, buddy. You take care.
Yeah. All
Cheers.
right, you too. Take care.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley Produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.